Yeah, g'day and welcome to the great tip-off for another day, the all-in show of Basil Gano as the host. I'm back in the leading chair. The king resumes in his rightful throne for another week. No, it's right. Gano is down there playing golf. We tried to back him. He said lay him. But I got a sneaking suspicion he'll be shooting well under par. Another big weekend it was, and Caulfield Cup coming up this Saturday. So good morning to both of you. Dino, I'll come to you first. You had a good weekend?
Yeah, it was a great weekend. It was a smorgasbord of good horses, good races, good stories, and you should be thrilled to be in the host chair, Louis. You tipped up attrition at huge odds, so I know you're up and about, and hopefully some of the listeners, especially George, chimed into that price. But it was a good weekend, boys, all round, and we look forward to the Caulfield Cup. A little bit of an in-between week, but the Caulfield Cup shapes to be good.
Yeah, 100% right.
Yeah,
Gano?
in between weeks, we thought we'd get you involved, Louis. You finally tipped us a big price winner, so you deserve the chair, mate. Welcome
Oh, my
aboard. Good
best.
to have you
Yeah, I try my best. I only had to tip it at the most savage unders all time to finally get a winner up. But anyway,
here.
we move on. Talk us through maybe your standout performance from the weekend, Dino. Of course, we had a huge day here in Sydney with the Everest and the King Charles III. We had three Group 1s in Melbourne. If you're a Greyhound fan, there was $1 million chase on Friday night. And if you're a Trots fan, there was a Victoria Cup Derby in Oaks on Saturday night from Melton. So there was a lot to go around. You couldn't tell me you didn't enjoy the weekend, no matter what code you're a fan of. What was your standout moment?
Yeah, probably Alligator Blood or Front Page. I just thought the way they won their races, it was dominant. Everest was great, but sort of the margin of Front Page and Alligator Blood was outstanding. There was a query over 2,000 meters, which I was sort of against him at that, but he's absolutely blown away on the clock and done everything right. And then the story on Front Page, back-to-back Kosciuszko's, won it in near carbon copy fashion. And I thought those two, Louis, were the two standouts for me across the weekend.
And Gano, I assume your standout was not Tom Kitten. I know that much.
Yeah, anywhere between Tom Kitten and Mince Moment would be my in the bin of the week. It was just horrific viewing for those, but Fangirl, wasn't she impressive? Ultra impressive. Got the perfect setup. Third up was really good. Front Page, Dino, wow, really good, really good win. And obviously the blood. Well, how could anyone have doubted the blood, Luke?
Yeah, bloody oath. What do we want to touch on first? Let's touch on the Everest. It was the biggest one in Sydney, I guess. $20 million was up for grabs. And we chatted so much, and there was so many little variables that were going into the race. And in the end, it was just the favourite who found the right spot, controlled it, and hung on. Dino, what did you take out of the Everest for this year?
Yeah, I think it just echoed how firm Sydney tracks are. I think they watered, obviously, and was in the good four range start the day, but just how dry it is underneath just sort of forced the way track played probably throughout the day to settle on speed. And that just made the gates, which was so important in an even Everest, to be even more pronounced. I think about it, had the best run of the race and won according. Private Eye was brave, three wide the trip, and the run of the race was probably in secret, dead last on the turn. Couldn't really make up a lot of ground all day, and she was outstanding, run fourth. So I think out of it, what it does do is shapes Louis to be a massive champion sprint where we'll see in secret probably go down there a lot of the Everest. Plus, you'll get the likes of Star Patrol, Imperatrice, and a couple of others. So, thought it was a great addition and probably the first time. The funny thing out of the weekend was Melbourne Cup Day. I'm sure used to get the messages off the family, couple of friends, and all that sort of stuff for a tip in the Melbourne Cup. This year was the first year that I actually got a couple of texts off like that. So, it's obviously growing in
Yeah.
stature even more, Louis.
Yeah, absolutely. 46,000 they had on track, and it was electric for a big day racing. Gano, what did you make of the Everest?
Well, I got no mates, so I didn't get any text messages, but it was good. It was good nonetheless. It was a huge day, enormous day. Full credit to Proven Thoroughbreds. Imagine just being a syndication business, spending small amounts of money that they do, and then you got Joey Pride as well, two horses that run top three in the Everest. Phenomenal stuff. So full credit to them. Full credit to Gay and Adrian for putting some speed into the race as well, because well, it caught me by surprise. I thought there'd be a little bit, but there was a lot.
I think I like how you about Proven Thoroughbreds, and a big congratulations to them, and obviously Joe Pride, who runs first and third in the race. What I will say, and this is no takeaway from Think About It, who is clearly a machine, just can't stop winning, and goes from benchmark races to a Group 1 last prep, and now a Tab Everest winner for 20 million this prep. If you ran the race again 5 times, I think you get 5 different winners. So Private Eye sits 3 wide the whole way and doesn't go down far. I wish I win. Obviously, a lot of chat pre-race and in the days leading up was about the barrier. I mean, the only time so far in its career overpasses lead and not given a kick, it just happens to be in the Everest and falls straight back in I Wish I Win's face. I think if it kicked at the top of the straight, it opens up a huge amount of room for I Wish I Win to come through and score. So I think if that happens, I Wish I Win is the winner. And then obviously in secret, if it doesn't draw so wide and forces its hand to go back so far, then if it draws any other barrier, it probably wins. So it was a great win by Think About It, but I think if you ran the race another 4 or 5 times, you get those 3 or another horse even beating it. So it was an interesting one. King Charles, we touched on. Fangirl was huge. Mr. Brightside, what happens now? Obviously, didn't run poorly, but at the $1.90 price, I think people were expecting a touch more. Dino, what do you think moving forward into a Cox Plate?
Yeah, I think he'd be fine. I think the race shape probably was against him a little bit. He's 4th up in the prep, probably looking maybe for a stronger run 600-metre race. The way the race was run really slowly to the 600-metre mark was a purely sit and sprint, which just suited Fangirl. The biggest thing was you look right on the 600-metre mark and the leaders put the brakes on. Fangirl makes up 2 to 3 lengths without doing any work. And then it's just them two eyeballing each other. And I think we all know she's got a superior turn of foot than him. I think that's the way it played out. So he was good. He got warm late. Gaps in behind were great. I think now 2,000 metres suits him deep into a preparation. So don't sack him at all. He's around $9, $10 in a Cox Plate that's maybe falling away a little bit. So I thought he was fine, Gunno.
It was an enormous run by Mr. Brightside to finish where he did. Given the race shape, he'll be fine. He'll head to the Cox Plate. What a race it's going to be, though. Dino, did you suggest that Fangirl's going to the Cox Plate? Did I hear that right?
Yep, confirm Fangirl will go there. Confirm Kovalika will go to the Golden Eagle, and confirm that Amelia's Jewel won't go to the Cox Plate and more than likely is done for the rest of the spring. She didn't eat up after the win after a run on the weekend at Toorak, and the stable have suggested this morning that she's not herself. She's very quiet, and there's something there. So be very careful of that. But yeah, Fangirl to the Cox Plate.
So I think what we've learned here is race shape and race tempo is everything. You know, there's a lot to be said. Fangirl got it all her way this time round. Think About It got his way that time around. It's just the way the game is. You've got to be careful. It's not always a case of the best horse winning.
Yeah, Miller Try is probably a perfect example of that as well, Lou.
Yeah, well, I
as well. Yeah.
Perfectly just going to mention militarized then. I've seen contradicting reports. Okay, so they go pretty slow and it didn't give a whole lot of chance for horses back in the field in that derby to make up ground and win. She Light, etc. However, moving towards a Cox Plate, even with that in mind that it wasn't the greatest of luck on Saturday, it surely still has to find a pretty good amount of length to be winning that race compared to other serious weight for age stars.
Yeah, I agree. I think the race shape wasn't there. It was a great ride on Griff by Ben Mellum, and you're just a victim of circumstance. Both tracks sort of played similarly, but I agree, Louis. You got to sort of bounce off that. I don't think it can just turn up in its form it's in at the moment and win. I think it's got to obviously find it. We'll get the weight drop, etc., etc. But the biggest thing I thought about the Cox Plate moving forward is we might have a little bit of lack of speed. I think Alligator Blood and Romantic Warrior probably set it up, but he's a horse militarized who's a victim of his pattern getting back. So I think a little bit warming towards Romantic Warrior second up.
What about the Toorak fellas? In terms of a pit for the Golden Eagle, the last 2 Golden Eagle winners have come through the Toorak. So does the winner attrition back up into a Golden Eagle? What about Amenable, who ran 4th, Gano? Do you see any of those two featuring in a Golden Eagle if they were to come that way?
Couldn't have either of them, Luke, to be honest with you. I think the Sydney form will stand up strong, mate. And there's one coming from Japan that appears to be an absolute jet. Maybe B grade over there, but that's a A+ over here.
Yeah,
you've also got Legato, the Kiwi, as well.
Yeah, okay.
You do.
You're the same.
Yeah, I love the run of Menable. They went incredibly hard to the 600-metre mark in that race. So for Menable to stick on, I thought he was brave, and even the horses to stay there. The only thing coming out of that is, do they feel that run? Attrition probably lacks upside deep in the prep now, and I love the booking, the confirmation of Kovalika to go to the Golden Eagle. I just think that's a massive setup. Fastest last 400 and last 200 in the time meeting from an impossible spot. I think that horse is humming. And if you can get anything above $9, around that $9 price, I would be betting on Kovalica.
Dino, before we wrap Saturday up, have you got a horse to follow out of any other race there from the weekend?
I thought Tom Kitten and Bella Nipotina are the two big ones to follow. Randwick, you couldn't make any good ground out wide, and both those horses were ridiculously good against the buyer. So I think Bella will go to the Manicato and Tom Kitten as spring champions. I would not be dropping off either of those, Louis.
Gano, anything from you? Are you still sticking with Tom Kitten for spring champion?
I never want to hear the name Tom Kitten again, Louis.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll stick with Dino there. I think I am with you. Bella Nipotina and Tom Kitten are the two ones I want to follow. All right, Caulfield Cup time. Tricky race always to figure out with the handicaps and the distance. Turnbull Stakes is usually a pretty good lead-in. That was the one won by Gold Trip. Lead-in, that was the one a few said before confirmed yet, but it's tricky. They haven't said anything yet. At least of yesterday, they hadn't said anything. Ganno, I'll come to you first. Who do you like in the Caulfield Cup this year?
Ganno's cast with his AirPods. I'll chime in, Louis.
Yeah, Ganno's cast down there in Melbourne. Righto, Dino, it's you and me carrying this now. Dino, who do you like?
Yeah, Gold Trip's confirmed this morning, Louis, to go to the Caulfield Cup. So big news there. I think it shapes to be probably the best Caulfield Cup I've seen in recent times. I sort of love this race this year. I think it's an outstanding contest. I think it'll be really, truly run. We'll see some really good horses. I love the run of West Wind Blows first up in the Turnbull Stakes. They did a brutal tempo to the 600-metre mark over the 2,000 there, and that horse sat on speed, made the mid-race move, and was still kicking. So I think it's got improvement to come up to 2,400 metres. It's a go-forward horse. I think it's a really big chance. And like you said, it's a hard race to be betting into all in. There's so much can happen, speed maps, everything like that. So I think it's the one I want to find. And without a fight, I think he's the forgotten horse here. He was as good as, if not better than Salcombe in his last start. And then Salcombe come out, obviously ran a bottler in the Underwood behind West Wind Blows. So I think them two tie into each other, and I'd be more than happy to take their price and be sort of a little bit against Gold Trip with a big weight and his pattern at $5, Lou. What about you?
Yeah, I'm tossing up. You know that staying races are not my forte, and especially handicap conditions with a bunch of internationals, which I was going to come to you, Gano. Do you know much of any of the internationals that are coming? Break Up, the Japanese horse. There's another one that has a Japanese name but runs in the UK, just to confuse the punters. What do you reckon about any of those?
Akuta Sushi, is that who we're referencing there?
The one I'm speaking of, yes.
And Break Up as well. No, I don't know much about them at all, but what I will tell you is when they come out, they mean business. So you must take note. What do you do with them as betting propositions? I have absolutely no idea. I wouldn't touch them. Without a Fight's a horse that I really want to back, but I don't think we have to take the $6 now because he is a forgotten horse. And I think we'll get bigger than $6 just simply because we have forgotten about him. He's got the right form lines. He looks ready to fire. These have been his targets all along. So very, very keen. I thought Huya Mal, probably the wrong price. We might get a bit bigger price, but I thought we finally saw the best version of the fourth last start. And, he will only improve again, Lou. But at the moment, it's a very awkward all-in betting market. And then you've got First Immortal down there at $21 with 50 kilos. We're not sure if he gets a start. If he does get a start, he won't be $21. So it's touch and go. You want to keep your eye on the reports. We've got probably another 24 hours until we get closer. Just keep your eye on X, on Twitter, and follow some smart people. Because if you can work out if First Immortal is going there before the final field, I think at $21 is an enormous price. I'm not going to bet yet. I'll wait till first thing tomorrow morning, do my research, and we'll see how we go. But yeah, without a Fight, a horse I want to back on Saturday, and First Immortal's a horse I could probably back now if we get a bit of inside word. And if we do get the inside word, punters, we'll put it on YouTube. We'll put it in the comments there. So we'll let you know as soon as we know as well.
Yeah, it's a spot on race, a market with tab, $5 the field headed up by Salcombe. It's if you've got an idea, especially with how the internationals line up to the local form, it's a great race to bet in. I'll side with you, Ganno, without a fight. Was huge in the Underwood. 4 weeks between runs is I don't know if it's a question mark or if it's okay. Was that always going to be the setup? Who knows? But I'm happy to stick with it. And Break Up, the Japanese horse, form behind Justin Palace and Equinox. I mean, Equinox is the highest rated horse in the world. So you kind of have to respect that and say, well, if that's the form line that's going to come, that it can be a big chance. Anything else futures-wise, Dino, that you want to tip us into?
No, it's a little bit of a in-between week in Sydney. Obviously, I think we've got the Big Dance wild card, and I think it's the Four Pillars race, but nothing really this far out. I'm going to have a deep dive today, but it's a little bit of a get your breath back weekend up here in Sydney.
Gano, you got a tip for us in this golf competition or what?
Yeah, just lay me back the field. You probably get $1.04.
Yeah,
It's the best bet you ever had. I haven't picked up a club for about 6 weeks, and I'm keen to go. But I tell you what, Victoria Road in the Cox Plate looks like a decent chance. I don't think we're getting any odds there, but I think it's a horse I want to keep an eye on. If the best version of Victoria Road turns up, we could be in a bit of strife here, fellas.
Rightio. So Gano and I without a fight in the Caulfield Cup. Dino, just who are you with again?
Yeah, West Wind Blows on top. He's probably my best all-in player of the week, and I'm with you. I'd be more than happy to have a good saver on without a fight. I think Shapes of E, probably my favourite and the best Caulfield Cup in recent time.
Beauty. Anything midweek?
Midweek, yeah, I got one for us actually. Race 2 on the Kenzo. A horse that's been knocking on the door. Keenan for the Waterhouse and Bott stable should roll the front. And like I said, these Sydney tracks are just playing fast on speed. With their dryness. So I think that horse is hard to beat. Armed Forces in the race, who's a good horse. So hopefully we get a price about race 2 at Keenan on Wednesday on the Kenzo, Lou.
Beauty. Gano, you got anything off the top of your head for midweek?
The monkeys.
Maybe on Thursday at Hawkesbury, it could be Celestial Fury or see what Barry Ridge lads. But stand by, I'll put something up during the week and keep the punters happy. And Dino, when you're referencing those monkeys clapping with their cymbals, mate, mate, fair to go. Hot calling the kettle black, huh?
You're talking about these things.
Yeah. I'll give you one. Caulfield race 1, number 2, Aztec State. Don't know what price it is. Was a debut winner for the Hayes boys. Gets Mark Zara, draws barrier 3. That debut win at Bendigo was good. Rated well. Time was good. So it may come up short there, to be fair, but we'll see. I think it's a good winning chance over the mile in a benchmark 70. Quick episode, boys, this week, but that's good. Gano's got golf to play. Dino's got winners to find, and I've got Sky 2 Manawatu race 8 coming up in about a minute, so I better jet off and get back on the channel. And I'll touch base with you all next week.
Thanks, boys. Good luck, Gano.
Bye for now.